The next story I want to touch on is a story about Augustin Sirino. There are rumors, and I'd like to highlight that these are rumors. They have not been substantiated, that Sirino is being difficult at Kaizer Chiefs. Sirino apparently, allegedly, is faking injuries not to play. But then also, when they say that when he does play, he seems to be going against what the coach is saying. Now, we know this is our media who are reporting this, so we have to take it with a pinch of salt, the stories that come out from there. But this is very sad. I'll start off with just needing Sirino. I think Sirino has been a breath of fresh air at Kaizer Chiefs. I think Sirino has brought about a thinking, a brain that we have needed at Kaizer Chiefs when in build-up, when playing, when going forward. He is the heart of that attack, and he's the reason why players are getting clear-cut opportunities most of the time. Him with his supporting cast are doing an incredible job in the attack of Kaizer Chiefs. Now, you could point to a couple of weaknesses. Defensively, he is a liability. Defensively, he does leave cross in no man's land when we speak about having to defend. There are things that Ukosh Nabi would have to fix. But I think this story worries me because it's a continual pattern of something that I brought up when we were speaking early about Augustin Sirino possibly joining in Kaizer Chiefs. For those who have been following me for a while, you know how I feel about former Mamelodi Sundowns players, former big players coming to Kaizer Chiefs, and where Kaizer Chiefs sits in their priority list. I have often pointed to players like Abo Toli, Abo Biliat, who gave us some performances. I'm not going to try and make it seem like it was all bad. But for the most part, they didn't live up to the billing that we gave them, that we wanted to bring these players in because they're experienced, they come from a functional side, they look great, they're amazing, they're going to bring up the level of the Kaizer Chiefs. And my big criticism of players who come from there is that a lot of them come to Kaizer Chiefs at a point in their lives where they've done the hard work. They've had to play at Sundowns, where you've had to be a team player, where you've had to, toe the line, where you're in and amongst other stars, where there's competition. I mean, Sirino, for him to land at Kaizer Chiefs is because he wasn't getting playing time at Mamelodi Sundowns, and of course, his relationship with the head coach at the time, right? So a lot of these players, when they land at Kaizer Chiefs, they come from that sort of environment, and also an environment where you don't have a celebrity factor. And maybe that is one of the biggest advantages that Mamelodi Sundowns may have in our football, in that they're big, they're rich, they've got money, they're doing all those things. But because they don't have that celebrity factor, the players don't develop big heads. Sorry to interrupt the video that I'm sure you're enjoying, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown me and my Overthinking Football platform. I'm a one-man band that's doing all of this, and I really do enjoy the comments about how, Supersport needs to come fetch me and SABC and all of that stuff. And I think it speaks to the quality of the content, but also the amount of effort that I put in. So I just wanted to say thank you. But the truth is that Abo Supersport and all of those guys, yes, we're competing with them, but it's a completely different place. The sponsors are looking for former players, and to be honest with you, running some of these things is getting so difficult, and things have changed at home. So financially, it's a whole different world. So I wanted to try something new and come to the overthinkers, the people who watch the content, and say it would be incredible if you guys could contribute monthly towards the platform, towards keeping my lights on, but also making sure that all of the crazy things that I want to do, that I want to take Supersport on with, I can actually do. And just for 20 Rand every month, I think that would be an incredible contribution if you can make it. It may sound like a little, but if we can get a lot of people behind it, then we'll be able to carry on doing what I do. I'll be able to carry on giving you the content and also expanding it, because we don't have shows like this, and us content creators need help from our audiences. So I just came here to ask you if you can. Here is the account number that you guys can use in order to contribute. And I think, I'd be very grateful if you would. But anyway, let's get back to the video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So by the time they get to Kaizer Chiefs, and by the time they experience the coverage, the love, the noise, the celebrity factor of Kaizer Chiefs. Number one, you get there and you are now inflated. You haven't had to deal with this. And maybe now you realize that your celebrity status outweighs what performances you have to bring to the team. So I no longer have to be a 5-star, 10 out of 10 player, similar to what I was at mamelodi Sundowns. I just have to give some good performances here and there. My salary is done. I don't need to worry about bonuses and all of that stuff. My base salary is already allegedly very high. You know, forget about bonuses. Where I would be shouted at, or we'd have a tough time after losing and all of that. This team might look at me and say, oh man, you've tried so hard. You know, don't worry about the 3 points or winning the league or winning the trophies. We are building, we care more about the type of play that you're bringing here. And of course, this is not just a critique on Sirino because that story is building. It's more about, you know, the relationship with the club. So we're speaking about the celebrity factor. We're speaking about the fact that you don't need results like that. We're speaking to the fact that you are, in a sense, bigger than the club. A lot of Sundowns players, when they leave that place, you've won the leagues back to back to back to back to back. You've played in the Champions Leagues over and over. You've gone far in those competitions, right? You've made it into national teams most of the time, right? You are head and shoulders above a lot of players in the league in terms of your abilities, where you rank next to these guys, right? So sometimes when they get to Kaizer Chiefs, and I don't want Chiefs fans to read me wrong here, when they get to Kaizer Chiefs, they come with that thing that you need me. I can act out and act however I want. I can gain weight. I can be injured most of the time. I can be all of those things. But you must remember that it feels like I am doing Chiefs a favor. And what that does is when they get into the team, it influences everybody else to start doing things. Already we've had our disciplinary problems at Kaizer Chiefs, we know. And maybe the broader conversation is to look at Kaizer Chiefs and say, how are you allowing players to do these things? We know about the Kune situation, for example. We know about the alleged situations with Abom Tanzane and their behavior and subsequent punishments at Kaizer Chiefs. So is this not a replay of some of the things we've seen? And I think if it is true, again, if it is true, I am disappointed because this transformation happened very quick. He came in, he was doing his job. Then now, if this is what's happening and he has to be benched because of these things or punished, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But then the bigger question becomes, what is happening with player management at Kaizer Chiefs? That these players get there and they start, one, acting differently behind closed doors, but then more importantly, the performances on the pitch, they start lacking for them. And what do you do in order to change and make sure that these star players that you're bringing in toe the line? Or there is a line, or there is a way to keep them in check. Because if there isn't, it's going to be another situation where we're sitting at Kaizer Chiefs with a bunch of players who were once great players. And it's not just former Sundowns players, but were once great players who are getting into an age and time in their lives where they're not going to give us more than. And if this is year one of, let's say, a 3-year contract, hey, we have a long way to go. But let's hope that this is all just sensationalism and this is our media trying to find a story where there isn't one. Let's hope. And hopefully we can get back on track as the Kaizer Chiefs and continue this project that Coach Nabi has brought into the team.